Hi, everyone. Welcome to my best friend, Corinne. It is me, your best friend, Corinne. I have returned from the Middle East and I have lots of updates, stories, and news. I'm going to start with the most pressing news, which is that I am no longer going to be doing this on TV Co. So if you're listening now, you are just listening because you can't be participating with me on the app. I actually really loved the company. I loved working with them, but they were going in another direction. And as you might have noticed, I'm really interested in getting the audio and the podcasting portion of my show really tight, and they're much more interested in the video component. So really, in the end, while I have tons of respect for that company and I think they respect me too, it just didn't work out. It wasn't a good match anymore just because their goals and my goals were not really aligned. So in the interim, a couple things that I want to point out. I don't like to work for free. So I'm never going to put out content and not expect to make something in return. This particular podcast is an example of charity work because that's exactly what's happening. But I don't yet know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to join another network. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I know that most podcasts make their money on Patreon. I personally don't like that as a template because I feel like I'm taking money from some of my favorite people who literally work like hourly wage jobs, and I don't want to take money from them. But the problem is that I don't have time to play sponsors. So for today, I have McCrae, who is helping me out. Say
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, and
Hello,
so
hello.
McCrae, like I want to tell them a little bit about our background. So basically, you had On the Block Network, right?
Yep, yep.
And you reached out to Max to put him on for a show like regarding Survivor stuff.
Yeah.
And then Max did the show for a little bit, had me on as a guest, and then was like, will you please just do this show with me? And so we ended up doing ATF for 3 years. But for a good beginning portion of that, you were like very integral in everything we were doing. We didn't know how to do anything. You kind of taught Max everything, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, Max is a good learner. He
Yeah.
could pick it up really fast. But I mean, it's a weird. Yeah, Spencer was talking to me about it, and he's like, "Isn't that's really weird?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, like Spencer's the one that really pushed Max to do it, and like I'm the tech guy, so like I was just there to help also." But yeah, and then it comes around like, "Oh, we lost both of our dead weights. Now it's just the lean mean fight machine right here. Let's go." Yeah, very very weird that it's all coming back around.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out for anyone listening that's not familiar with McCrae, he was on Big Brother, which is sort of how we were in the same CBS family. You know,
Yeah.
kind of that's how we know each
And I
other.
believe you were on the first episode of Max's show, I think. You were on
Yeah.
the very first episode with like Mike Holloway, I believe.
Yes.
Like I remember like we were in your place, I think. You couldn't have known who the hell I was. But I remember like us going out on your balcony and just like smoking cigs, and I was like, "This is badass!" Like I was like, "This is cool." But yeah, that's a good memory. Good
Yeah.
memories.
So that is how McCrae comes to you guys today. But everything will be business as usual. I have tons of stuff to tell everyone. And now, instead of talking to myself, I have someone to talk to. So I was going to open with I finally released my holiday card. So if you do not follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I really don't care if you actually follow me or not. But if you want to see this picture, this is how you can do it. I'll also put it up on our Facebook group, my Best Friend Corinne Facebook group. It's going to stay the same. My title for my show will stay the same. That group is alive and thriving. So if you missed me a lot, you should have been part of that group because I chime in there all the time. But this is what I thought was really funny. So my parents knew I was making a holiday card. I did it with my alpaca. I dressed up. It was very elaborate. I was wearing fake eyelashes. I had a photographer. Like, it was not a joke. I took it very seriously. I made it so that it's both Christmas and Hanukkah represented. But I get this email from my dad, and it's just, this is what it says. There's no Dear Corinne. It just says, please send me a copy of your holiday card with Pac. Thanks. And I just wondered if anyone else's father out there has the business approach like mine does.
It's so amazing. I did end up seeing that picture. Very, very awesome.
Thank
I thought that was
you.
super funny. Yeah, it's yeah, cute picture. The alpaca's looking good. Its name is Tupaca. What
Yes.
was it?
Yes.
Okay, that's
And so,
another amazing name.
thank you.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I went through a couple of name iterations when I named him Tupaca. At first, he was going to be Weird Alpaca Yankovic. I looked at Alpaca Chino, but there already is one named that.
Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah, so I made him. A black rapper, which is fantastic.
Problematic.
But I love I love like being able to share stuff about him with people because I don't know very many people who have an alpaca, so I feel like it's special and it's fun and it's funny. But what I
Well,
didn't expect is so I released the card on my Instagram, and then I was inundated with people that were like, "Here's my address," and I'm like, "Oh wait, is that how this works?" Like, and I'm like so flattered. But I
we could
didn't.
start up an email list. We could email it to everyone. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, I know. Well, one of my
More
friends,
work.
yeah, one of my friends texted me his holiday photo, and I was like, "The fuck is this? You can do that now?"
This is the
Okay.
easy way out.
Yeah. But I did send it to some of our patrons. I don't know if that's not really patrons, but members.
They're patrons of our.
Patrons?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
patrons. They're not Patreons. They're
Yeah.
patrons of the show.
There you
Yeah.
go. So I
Yeah.
wanted to recognize a few patrons, so I sent them some cards. So I just want to say, for all the patrons that support me, thank you so much. But especially thank you to Dr. Lee, who is my right-hand man, to Megan, who she writes all of the iTunes descriptions, which I would never sit down and do, and she does such a good job. Hozak, who he got the merch for the Vegas event. He's kind of my merch go-to guy, and also just like a level of sanity. He always makes me feel better about whatever's going on. Emma, who set up my Gmail account, and Heather Cannon, who relentlessly makes groups about the groups. I love all of you guys. You all got cards in the mail, so I hope you enjoyed them. All right,
Oh yeah.
down to business.
Let's do
So I obviously went to the Middle East, which was a strange, perhaps, vacation
What
for me.
did you go for? Was it a wedding?
No.
I thought you not your wedding, obviously, but I mean not obviously. Oh shit.
No.
Like what was the reason? Was it just?
So good, very valid question. That's the question that my parents kept asking and everyone that knew me.
Yeah.
So every year I plan one out of the country trip with these two girls, Erica and Carla. And the reason I go with them in specific is we have very similar travel style, but also Carla is the dopest planner. Like she will send me, she's got an itinerary in an Excel spreadsheet. She's like, estimates how much tip each car ride will cost. Like we had a private car service. We had she does everything right, but she does it like pretty economically. But if it were up to me, I would have just paid a tour company, however much they charge. And that never is like a good plan. Okay, so Carla decides she wants to do the Middle East, and so does Erica. And I'm just like, I don't know, that's fine. Okay, sure. I could not tell you like where the Middle East was. Like I didn't know, like in my mind, I don't sometimes understand, like there are northern parts of like Africa that I thought were actually like Middle East, but they're not. Like
It's all muddled.
Yeah.
It's very muddled in there. Yeah, yeah.
I think like my Ambien rattled brain, like I can't locate most things on a map. So I like really didn't know what that meant. So she was like, we're going to spend 8 days in Jordan. And I was like, the fuck's in Jordan? So I just was like, all right. So
Let's do it.
yeah, so we did. So I'm just going to give you a few highlights from my trip, but I thought it was really cool. Jordan was amazing. I'm Jewish, so you would think I would be raving about Israel, but Tel Aviv is just Miami.
That's amazing. You see all the commercials for Tel Aviv. Like, I don't know why, but I see all the commercials for Tel Aviv. It does look like Miami.
It's
for
too
sure.
far to travel to go to Miami. So Tel Aviv has a Soho House. They have a Satai. They have like all the restaurants, all the hotels, and all the shit in
Really?
Miami. And they have the same amount of Israelis as Miami. So I don't know why people go to Tel Aviv. Jerusalem was cool, but Tel Aviv I didn't get. So when I started, I'm going to give you a few like highlights of idiocy that happened. One of the first things we did was we went to the Dead Sea. And so when we were staying in this like resort on the Dead Sea, it was a really big deal. I guess they sell for a lot of money the black clay that is in the seabed. I feel like I'm not articulating this well. But so I'm like, okay, I guess I want to try that. But now mind you, I was told that I could only bring a carry-on for 2 weeks. Now, obviously, I've done Amazing Race. Like, I understand how to pack for that. But that means I had one bathing suit. So I was slightly concerned when we got to the Dead Sea that I wanted to put the black clay on my face, but I didn't want to put it on the rest of my body because I wasn't sure if it would stain my bathing suit.
Yeah.
So I put it on my face. I am then prancing around the Dead Sea. Like other people are covered in it also, but it's just on my face.
Blackface.
That's right. So we go to take some photos, And I'm like, oh shit, I look insane. This is so offensive. And like, I just figured like it's for wrinkles. It's, but I looked, I looked like one of those characters. It was very bad. So after this debacle, I was like, we're at the Dead Sea. This was like the kind of like the day or two of like relaxing days before our intense like 10-mile hike days, like through the desert and shit. So I was like, I'm going to treat myself. I very, very rarely do this, but I decided I was going to get a massage. And I have a hard time with people. I do not like to be touched. So like when I get my pedicure, I ask that they not massage me. Just get in and get out. When I get my hair cut, like as quickly as possible, man. Like I really don't like it. So
I'm on board. Yeah. I
decided I needed a massage because I've been having like trouble. Like I like my neck has been bothering me. I was like, whatever, let me start this out on the right foot. I'll do it just like I think I got like a 30-minute massage. So not super long. But when you get a massage, they tell you can come early and you can use the steam room or the sauna. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. So I don't know because I don't hang out in steam rooms and saunas. And I very rarely would ever go to like a place and get a massage like this. Yeah. So in fact, I think the last time I did it was before I hiked or after I hiked Machu Picchu. Like I don't really do massages normally. All right.
Yeah.
Fine. So I go to I didn't ask. Well, yes, I did. I asked Erica, I go, just to be clear. Okay, wait, let me back it up. This is a very good story. So let me back it up. Okay, this is what happened. Since you asked me, before we started the show, McCrae asked if I was going to talk about the Survivor bullshit. And I said no, and I'm not going to. But this is sort of, here's an example of an actual touching issue. So I went to, after we hiked Machu Picchu, the town that it ends in, they have all these places that do massages, but they're super cheap. Like it was like $5 for 60 minutes. So the massage place that we went to, it was very, well, how shall I say?
Janky?
Yeah.
Janky?
Let's go with janky. Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's the correct word.
There was a monkey running around. So the first day I actually paid for time with the monkey because I just wanted to hang out with the monkey. The second day I went back and I was like, all right, I'm going to actually get a massage. Well, I don't get massages rarely ever. And I don't really understand the protocol. So I get completely naked. Like I take my underwear off. And
happy ending.
I did not think anything of it. I just thought it's like, a doctor's appointment. I had a physical today. I had to take everything off. That's how it works. I don't fucking know. So Erica, we're just upstairs in this fucking like Anne Frank's attic. Like the ceilings are super low. There's a table set out. There's just a sheet hanging between Erica and I. And I have a man, she has a woman. So the man does the massage. I think it's good. I don't know. He's using a ton of fucking oil. And then he gets up to my crotch area and he sort of like puts like the tip of his thumb in my vagina.
Like, I didn't pay for this.
Like, I guess that was an accident. Like, I didn't think much of it. So this massage ends, and I put my clothes back on, I get outside, and I was like, Erica. She's like,
did this happen to you? Yeah.
Go, am I supposed to touch your vagina? She's like, she stops in her tracks and she's like, what? She goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, the guy, he put like the tip of his thumb into my vagina.
Like the inside massage.
Like he was kneading the top of my thigh and then he just went all the way up. She's like, first of all, why was your underwear off? You were like asking for it. So I'm like, why didn't you tell me to wear my underwear? She goes, why did you tip him? So she's like, I'm separated from you by a sheet. You could have easily just been like, Erica, I'm being molested. So anyway, because of that experience, I roll up to this massage and I'm like, Erica, give me all the fucking instructions here. And she's like, well, don't take your fucking underwear off, first of all. She made sure I had a female. So
smart.
So I go into this place and I want to use the steam room and sauna. So I come in. I have no bathing suit at this point because I I'm wearing, from what I understand, underwear, and that's it. I'm not wearing a bathing suit. But the steam room and sauna, usually you go naked. Like that, at least, I believe that's the case. Because I used to belong to LA Fitness, and there was a sauna there, and you were naked in it. And people, maybe you had a towel. But okay, so I walk in completely naked, and the steam is so thick that I cannot see. I sit down, and I look to my left, and there's a dude. And I realize I am in a co-ed steam room with nothing on. So now I like wrap myself like a blinza in my towel because I don't know what the fuck else. I mean, I felt like such a jackass. The steam clears a little more. I see his wife is there as well, and she's in a bathing suit. So like, it's just the three of us, and I can't do anything because I just wanted to act like it was no big deal.
It's like, oh yeah, it's just confidence, Yeah. Like it's all about that confidence.
So I suffer with this fucking couple through like 20 minutes in this steam room. So finally I come out, and like it's still not time for me to go in for my massage. So I'm like, okay, I shower off, I put underwear on, but I'm still just in a towel. And I'm walking like in this like hallway area of where the women's locker room is. And I hear this guy, very obnoxious guy, that's explaining to the staff. He's like, you gonna take care of my lady? I'm gonna give you extra money. You do real good job on her. Like very annoying, like really, really like.
Sounds like New York kind of guy.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was like, so I thought to myself, let me get further back so that I don't have to make small talk or make eye contact. So I go to retreat to the women's locker room side, which I should be completely fine being naked in. So I'm in the towel, but like I'm like sort of half-assing it, like my right tit's sort of out of the towel. Like I'm not really, I'm like checking my phone. Yeah. And I hear a woman, like what sounds to me like narrating. And I'm like, huh? I turn around. This woman who should not be back there because they're making an appointment. She doesn't have an appointment. Yeah. She's Snapchatting. So she's filming me, and she's explaining that she's at the Dead Sea and this is the massage place. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So
check this lady out.
Yeah, like I'm on somebody's Snapchat, naked. So that's cool.
Amazing.
So now we're on like day 3, and by day 3 I still haven't shit, and this is a problem. I'm starting to feel like ill, like, and the worst part is, don't ask me why, but everywhere in Jordan it's just a buffet. Everything is a buffet, and it's not cheap. I mean, it's not expensive, but it's not like, how in America buffets just dictate like shitty places. No, it's just that's how they eat. Everything is buffet. So I'm like, wild. I have to shell out the $20. And just I can't eat anything. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, this ends now. So I asked our private driver, I was like, I need you to take me to a pharmacy. So now I go to a pharmacy where they don't speak English, and I am miming what I want is a fleet enema. Right.
Duty cron, yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm pointing to my asshole, and I'm like using a water bottle. I'm like trying to describe. No one knows what I'm talking about. So I have to settle for getting Dulcolax. Now I'm going to explain why I don't fuck with laxatives. So if I, for some reason, be it an awards show or just some kind of stoppage, I always do a fleet enema because you squirt this like, bottle of basically salt water up your asshole. Yeah. And within under 2 minutes, everything comes out and you're done. You're done. There's no cramp, nothing. You're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a weird thing to do, but once you get used to doing it, you just do it.
Yeah.
And then I would do it. Like I used to do it in New York all the time. Probably a little too often, but I would be like, I don't know, I want to feel thinner before I go out tonight. So I would put it up my asshole and then I would go out. And I felt like $1 million.
Hell yeah. I think I'm going to get into this. Smart.
Yes. Yeah. Here's the alternative. Is you take a laxative, and the fucking laxative on the package, it says, take it at night. It takes 8 to 12 hours. Homie, that's a big window. So for 4 hours, I may or may not need to desperately get to a bathroom. So I decided to take it way earlier because I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'd rather have it happen because I'm traveling. Like, you know, some of these places you gotta bring your own toilet paper. You gotta pay to use the bathroom. You can't put your toilet paper in the toilet. Yeah. So, I don't know if it's considered a third world country, but it's definitely
maybe like second world.
Yeah, it's definitely not like America. So I'm like, this is really bad. So I take it. I take double the dose because, Why
Gotta
would
get
I
it
take
done.
what it said?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, if 1 is good, 2 is better.
It's gotta be better.
Yeah, so I was like, I want this out of me. Well, the middle of the night, I got my fucking wish. I was doubled over in absolute agony. I did go to the bathroom, but for like 2 full days, I had horrible cramping. So
Oof.
I would not be a sponsor for Dulcolax. It was a horrible experience. And I kept thinking I wanted to upload. I was just so miserable that I couldn't make the joke about it yet. But I wanted to go to the private Facebook group and be like, I've only bought 1 souvenir. It's Dulcolax. So
we should get them as a sponsor. That'd be a fine sponsor.
I mean, it's just not a good product. So that's the problem I have there.
All right, yeah, you're right.
So now we move on. After we do 2 full 10-mile hike days in Petra, which is one of the, I learned this recently because this is how fucking dumb I am. P.S. Speaking of dumb, I had to Google because I don't understand why my memory, everything is reset. I don't know anything anymore. I don't remember where anything is. So to give you an example, I had to Google because I put a stamp on an envelope and I started to send out my cards. And I said, this doesn't look right. Now I had the addresses pre-printed, my address on the lid of the envelope. So I put the stamp on the left side and it didn't look right. You want to know why? Because when I Googled it, it turns out the stamp goes on the right. Why don't I know that? So why did I have to waste 5 stamps? I did it 5 times before I was like, this just doesn't feel right.
That's like, it's antiquated now. Mailing stuff is antiquated. I mean, like, when's the last time you mailed something?
I don't.
Honest?
But
yeah, exactly.
And if I do, I bring it to like mailbox, etc., and then like they do it.
They do the work.
So, anyways, my point is like I'm just kind of like a moron. I can't remember anything anymore. So I don't remember why I was telling you that. So that really flies with the story.
you didn't know where you were, or you couldn't figure out whereabouts you were. I thought you did. Nothing looked familiar. Everything was
Okay, well. Anyways, moving on. So we do 2 full 10 days. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Petra. Okay.
Yes.
So they tell me, I had heard lots of people told me Petra is like unbelievable. So the girls were like, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. And I was like, what? I don't recall that. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, did they change the wonders? They go, well, no, these are the 7 new wonders of the world. I go, well, then there's not 7. Then now we're talking 14. Why am I the only one that's bothered by this? So in any case, I was super excited to do that. But we did this really outrageous thing. We stayed in something called a luxury bubble hotel.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask
They
about that.
are literally bubbles, not just a circular structure. It is a bubble. And you have instructions when you arrive that it's like being on Mars. So there's an entry corridor and a door. You have to close that door before you can open the second door into the bubble because the bubble is pressurized. And it'll deflate. So they give us this very lengthy, do not, under any circumstances, have both these doors open at the same time or you will basically be sucked out of the bubble. It's a very big deal. Do not do that. Yeah. So every time, anytime I was entering or exiting, I wouldn't do it by myself because I was like, I just don't trust that I can get in and out. I'm going to screw this up. So now a little story about my friend Carla. So she has extremely bad luck. She's just we call her Grumpy Cat because she's just, we went away for Thanksgiving. We've gone away every Thanksgiving for many years. And when we were in Chile, we actually saw wild turkeys running around in the morning when we woke up where we were camping. And so I was like, oh my God, I forgot it's Thanksgiving. Why doesn't everyone go around and say what they're grateful for or thankful for? And so we get to her and she goes, I'm not thankful for anything. And so it's like this overriding theme. And then she got cancer, actually.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the poor thing. So she's better now. She got breast cancer. She's better now.
Oh, that's good.
But she's just the unluckiest person I know. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have our own jacuzzi right outside the bubble. Each bubble has its own jacuzzi. So we're all in the jacuzzi and we're like, all right, who's going to shower first? So we're like, all right, Carla, you shower first. And then the 2 of us, Erica and I, will stay in the jacuzzi and wait for you. And then, you'll come out. Okay. So she gets in the shower and she's showering and all of a sudden we're in the middle of a desert. So the point is the bubble is totally see-through. And so you can see all the stars at night. You can see what everyone else is doing in their bubbles. So she's in the bubble. We're in the jacuzzi. All of a sudden, it's nighttime now. We did the jacuzzi at sunset. The power goes out. So we know she's in the shower and it's pitch dark, which is one thing, right? And the shower is fucking tiny. I mean, it's like a microwave. It's super tiny. So it's like very difficult. Like if you don't know, like you're just trapped in the shower. Okay.
Yep.
So Eric and I are dying laughing because we're like, of course this would happen. Like, oh,
Worst
she's
luck,
going to freak
yeah.
out and there's nothing we could do. And then I look at the bubble and I realize the bubble is deflating.
No.
So I see it is now, the whole thing is like, it's going down, 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 like really fast. Like a bounce house that has a hole in it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit. And now we look around and it's only our power that's out. So the other power has come back, but ours is out. So I was like, what the fuck do we do? She's like, well, we can't go inside the bubble because if we open the door, the air is all going to come out. So we can't use the phone. So I'm like, well, I'm in a fucking bathing suit and I have no shoes. So Erica's laughing so hard that she can't even like breathe. And I'm like, we have to help her. She's going to die in there.
Just like
so I'm like, so I finally like, I track someone down. They get the power back up. But like at the point where it was either do we run and find help or like, what do we do? Erica goes, should we put the jacuzzi cover back on? I'm like, not right now.
This is not the time.
Like, I was like, I'm watching the bubble and it was so fast.
Was it deflating because the power went out?
Yes, because it's there's constant, I guess, air being
just
pushed
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the power came back on for everyone but us. So like, we had to go track somebody down. Yeah. So,
yeah, that's amazing.
I will tell you, staying in a bubble hotel is the coolest thing I've ever done. But it
looked awesome.
But like, I don't know why economically that makes sense for the hotel. I mean, why wouldn't you could also just make a structure that has a clear roof?
Well, yeah,
like,
it's just like a novelty, you know. It just seems like a novelty, I guess. But like, yeah, like you said, it looked like Mars. Like it really did look like Mars. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whereas like that seemed cool. Yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, I'd want to do that for sure.
It was.
The one other question I had is, did you do the old Dead Sea float?
Yes.
Was it like, is it real? Like you just float?
Okay, so it's really, yeah, of course, you definitely just float. You don't have to do anything. You can't touch the bottom even if you want to. You'd have to like force yourself. But you also cannot swim. And when they told me that, I thought that was absurd. You really can't. Like I just kept doing somersaults because my body, you can't, it's the weirdest feeling. Everybody at some point in their life should do it.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
But here's something that, thank God. So the unicorn of death, the narwhal, told me, he lived in Israel for like a little while. And so he told me, he goes, listen to me. Do not, under any circumstances, pee in the Dead Sea. And I'm like, well, thank God you said something because I, for fuck sure, was going to pee in the Dead Sea. There's no chance I ever get out of the ocean to go to the bathroom. And he's like, I go, why? And he goes, because when you pee, your body, when your muscles retract, unintentionally will take some water back with them. This is so high of a salt concentration that your entire insides will fucking burn. Like you don't want to do that. They tell you there are signs everywhere. You can't get any of it in your eye.
Just like, Jesus, I never even thought about that.
I got some on my lips. Like I was trying to get the mud off my face and I got some on my lips. And like my lips were burning for like 2 hours.
Oh, really? That's wild. I never even thought about that. Another question I have is, isn't Machu Picchu, isn't that also another wonder of the world?
That's an actual wonder of the world.
That's like one of the ancient
wonders?
That's
like a real one.
Okay.
Petra's a new one.
You're just checking them off.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
Like,
Jesus. I went to the Blue Hole in Belize. I know. But like the best part is I get to these places and I don't know they're one of the wonders. I'm like,
well, it's cool.
This is amazing. Does everyone know about this? And people are like, it's literally in textbooks. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you, I mean, I figured, I'm going to Amelia something. I had 2 weeks in another country. So I Amelia'd something so embarrassing that I was sort of thinking like it'd be better to just not tell anyone that I did this. But it's too good of a story to not tell my besties, so I'm going to tell it. Okay, so I have known since I was probably 5 years old what the Western Wall was. We called it the Wailing Wall when I was a kid, but I think they don't call it that anymore. So
sorry to cut you off, but I saw you say the Western Wall, and I was like, I thought it was called the Wailing Wall. I didn't really know. They called it the Wailing Wall because when Israel was in turmoil, people were crying at it, and it's like considered to be like kind of like a bad, like they don't want you to call it that anymore. Yeah. So I'm like, fine. Ooh. So it's the Western Wall, no big deal. Okay, like I made a diorama in first grade that won the Broward County Fair, which, by the way, let me tell you what this diorama included. It included my father doing all the work, and it was cutting up yellow sponges and then crazy gluing them in the back of a shoebox. And then, do you remember there are these little Indian dolls? I don't know if I'm the only person that had these. They're literally like Native American little tiny little dolls made out of like toothpicks, and you're supposed to make a wish on them. They're called something like friendship dolls. Yeah, I don't know if I don't remember that.
All right,
I'm a little too
someone
young,
listening is
probably.
going to know. Anyways, those were the little people I used at the Wailing Wall. Now I ask you, why did my father let me use Native Americans at the fucking Orthodox Jewish Wailing Wall? Like, we couldn't afford to get a better, like, what? It was the worst project. I don't know how that shit won anything. Anyways,
Broward County, I mean.
I was very excited. We got to Jerusalem, and I was like, yeah, you're Broward County. Nice.
Yeah, no, I lived there for a little bit.
Well, I'm sorry.
Right?
So when we get to the wall, I'm very excited, and all I want is a fucking picture because I'm so excited to like show my parents and like I have a bonus grandparent because one of my grandparents were divorced, and my
Bonus.
I guess yeah. So Papa Stan, he used to paint all the time like pictures of like Jews like praying at the wall, and like I knew about this wall like forever. So I was so excited. We get there, and I see that. So let me explain, because you wouldn't know this just like I didn't. So the wall itself is remnants. It's what's left over from a much larger wall. So this piece that's left over is what you pray to. And it is fucking jam-packed with people. And it's just one straight strip. Half of it is male, half of it is female. And it's just like one.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I'm trying to explain. So it's just a parallel line, like just a line. And so like the wall itself, I'm getting to the point here, but just bear with me.
Sorry. It's
a wall, and it's just one straight line that's left. That's that is the wall. And everyone puts prayers and notes. They face it, and it's like this supposed to be this very spiritual thing. Okay, obviously I didn't feel like it was spiritual because I I work for Satan, but I did think it was cool to see. Well, I see that it's too jammed up. I can't even get to the front, and then I see on the right side, perpendicular, there are notes in this part of the wall, and there's one person standing over there, and I was like, well, there's a lot of room over here. So I'm like, Carla, shameless photo shoot. So I'm like having her take a bunch of pictures, different angles, take my purse off, take my jacket off, put my jacket on. Like, I am luxuriating on these wall photos. I finally settle on like a great wall photo. I put it in black and white, and I think, oh, this is the one.
Yeah.
Well, I go to upload it, and as soon as I do, I am met with tons of comments of people that are like, how the hell did you get any space at the wall? Like, how are you in a photo by yourself at the wall?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. Well, later that afternoon, I take a wall tunnel, like the tunnels underneath it, tour, and they explain the part with all the people, that's the wall. The part I took a picture in front of, that's just a random wall. That's not the wall. It looks like it, but it's not the wall. So I took a photo at the wrong part of, which would have been super intuitive, because why weren't other people at this part of the wall?
Yeah.
Obviously, Corinne.
Fake it till you make it.
I was just like, I had a private tour. I came really early.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I Amelia'd the fuck out of the wall. And
Amazing.
For my last story, so my two friends, Carla can't drink because she's half Japanese, and she has that thing where if she has like 2 sips of alcohol, she gets super, super red. Like, it makes her ill. It's the worst. Yeah. She is the worst luck of all time.
Like, allergic, yeah.
Like, poor Carla, we took her on a wine tour in Chile, and she was like, she's just highly allergic to alcohol. She's just got the worst luck. So, by the way, we were staying in Bedouin tents in these camps in the desert, and in one of them they had a falcon, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, you know me, like, I love an exotic animal. So like immediately I'm like, I grab the falcon, I have him on my arm. So I'm fucking with the falcon for like an hour, and Carla comes into the tent. It was like the main like living room kind of tent with the fire and like the shisha. She comes into the tent, she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. I was like, you gotta hold it for a picture. And she's like, I don't know, I'm uncomfortable. And I was like, Carla, it's not a big deal. I've been holding it for like an hour. Just hold it. So she puts it on her shoulder. The minute I take the photo, the falcon shits all over her only jacket. And we have no way to clean it. So she proceeded to spend the rest of the trip with fucking falcon shit all over her jacket.
That's amazing.
It was.
Is Carla the one that's the planner?
Yes.
So like, is it's like a chicken or the egg kind of thing? Like, is she planning so that she doesn't run into bad luck, or is it like bad luck always happens even because she's planning? I don't know. That's interesting.
She just has really bad luck. So yeah, it just makes me laugh. Okay, so the last story I have for you is Carla and Erica really don't drink, and I like to party. And when we got to Tel Aviv, I was like, well, I grew up in South Beach. Like, if this is anything like South Beach, well, bitch, go find a party. So I immediately start going to work because the two of them are like, we go to dinner at like 7 p.m. They're like, just so you know, we're out after dinner, so figure your shit out. Like, because I'm also always the one that doesn't know the address. I don't remember, like, what's the hotel name? So they make me, they go into my phone and they put in, like, the address, the phone number, the hotel information, like, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I make friends with, I identify a gay at dinner. I was like, one of these waiters, he's whistling. He's got a little pep in his step. I'm going to see if he's gay. So I walk over to him and I'm like, hey, like, he was rolling cigarettes. So I was like, oh, like, can I get one of those? Not that I really at all would ever smoke something like that, but I was like, whatever. It's just an in to talk to him. We go outside and I was like, are you homosexual? No, I didn't say it like that. But I was like, hey, like, I'm really interested in finding the gay part of town. Would you happen to know? And he's like, yes. Well, yes, I do. So he's like, but I don't get off work till 11. I was like, okay, well, can you just send me in that direction? Because I know if I find the gays, I'm good to go. Like, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm just going to be. So I do. So I go out by myself. I end up meeting like a ton of people. I meet this one straight guy who I didn't have any interest in romantically at all. Who is like, he paid for all of my drinks. And then he was like, you know, I'm recently divorced. And I was like, nothing is happening. You can keep paying for my drinks, but nothing's happening. So long story short, I don't remember much. I got very drunk at 3:30 in the morning. I was like, fuck, I better, cause I was afraid. I don't know what the Uber situation is. And I don't know if Uber stop, you can't really get one. You know, I don't want to get stuck. So this guy goes to the bathroom and I Irish goodbye him because I'm like,
smart.
Like, I don't want to have the whole conversation. It's going to be awkward. He's going to try and kiss me. Like, I'm just leaving. So I get an Uber. I go home. Fine. I wake up in the morning and I'm the person that takes all the photos. I'm like the caretaker of the photos. And usually we wait till we're on Wi-Fi back at a hotel or somewhere with Wi-Fi and then I trade the photos. So we wake up in the morning and Carla's like, can I have the photos from dinner? I was like, sure. I go on my phone and I find 18 photos of me with a green parrot. I do not know where the green parrot came from. I have no idea. And it is like, I'm telling you, there are videos. I am like in the street. I'm in the club. I have a green parrot on my shoulder for time stamped for like an hour. And I'm like, whose fucking parrot is this? I cannot tell you. I don't know.
That's amazing.
So that, my friends, rounds out my trip to Jordan and Israel. I am sure I'm forgetting things, so I will update you on future podcasts. But I intentionally told McCrae I wanted to record this because I wanted to make sure I got everything out because I know lots of people have been asking. So before I get into emails, I have a couple of other small stories to tell you. One is this. So I am still dating the Unicorn of Death. I know I called him the Norwal, but Unicorn of Death actually has a nicer ring to it. And I'm still waiting for him to be like a horrible person, which he hasn't been, which is the whole point of Unicorn of Death. But what he did do is, so he was like, he wanted to hang out. We had plans to see each other. I got home on Saturday. We were going to see each other on Sunday. We were spending the day at this fair, whatever. That was super fun. But when he got to the fair, he was like, I don't feel well. Like, I feel like I'm getting sick. And my first thought is, what the fuck? I don't want to get sick. Why would I want to hang out with somebody that thinks they're getting sick? Like, that's not ideal for me.
Stay home.
Right, but like, but now I'm in it. So I'm like, all right, I guess this is happening. So I was like, well, are you going to drink? Because I don't want to drink alone. Like, I did that for the last 2 weeks with my fucking travel buddies. So, oh, by the way, they told me all going into this trip, they don't have alcohol. They're a Muslim, Yep. Or do they? I found it. I paid like $30 to a concierge, and he's like, he 2 hours it took him. He came back, he resurrected with bottles of wine. I found alcohol everywhere. So
just sniffing it out, you smell it through the airwaves.
For the right price. For the right price, everybody will find you alcohol.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so he's like, no, I'll drink with you. So we have a blast. He hangs out with me like all day, and then he was leaving for Florida on Wednesday. So he's like, I was like, oh, am I going to see you before you go? And he's like, and he's so nice, right? Like, he's such a nice human that like, he definitely thought to himself like, oh, I should find a way to see her before I go. And he's like, I'm sort of busy and I have a lot going on. But like, like, why don't we have lunch on Wednesday? I was like, nah, dude, I don't do lunches. That's not my fucking bag. No, I'm not doing my hair and makeup in the middle of the day on a work day.
Lunch.
And then like sandwiching it between conference calls. Like, no, thank you. And I mean, how much drinking am I going to do at a lunch? No. And I mean, until you've been dating me for a while, like we aren't doing anything sober. I'm not interested. So he tells to me, he goes, all right, well, what about happy hour? And I said, sure, I could do a happy hour. So he's like, great. There's this place that we've gone to before that has an amazing happy hour with mussels, And like whatever, their drinks are. It's a really expensive place that now becomes reasonable at happy hour.
Hell
So yeah, so it's like mussels in that like whatever it.
An aphrodisiac,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's oysters that are an aphrodisiac.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's mussels.
Aren't oysters and mussels like basically the same? I don't know.
Well, one's raw and one isn't, but they are both not. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of either. The reason I like this is because you dip the bread in the fucking buttery whatever sauce that's at the bottom of the mussels, and that's the magic. That's what you don't eat all day for. So
okay.
I'm excited. Whatever. We sit down. As soon as he gets there, he's like squinting his eyes, and I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "I just don't feel well. I have a headache for like 3 days now." And I'm like, "You know what? I don't need to go out with Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Like,
yeah,
fucking
no shit.
brighten up, dude.
Suck it up."
Yeah. And he's like, and then he starts going. He goes, "I shouldn't have come." And I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, well then just leave. Like,
yeah, bye.
I don't want to be on this date either then." And he's like, "It's not you. I just don't feel well." I'm like, "I get that." And then I start. So he tells me, he goes. I said, "Well, what did you take? Did you take, if you feel like you have a sinus infection, did you take?" He goes, "Oh, no, I don't want to take anything." And I was like, "What?" Yeah. What? And he's like, "I don't believe in taking like Advil." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I don't want to have a tolerance. And then when I need it, it won't work." I go, "First of all, you do need it. This is the time you need it. You're not just taking it like willy-nilly. You need it. Also, do you have any clinical background at all? Because you've just conflated, like, yes, you can build a tolerance up to certain things. Advil's not one of them.
Yeah.
You can fucking take Advil. People take that every day. Like, it's fine."
Yeah, no shit.
So he's suffering through this headache, and I'm becoming incensed because he could just take some Advil and we could have a good time. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So now he goes to eat a mussel, okay? So now I've eaten 1 or 2 mussels. He hasn't eaten a mussel yet. He's dipping bread. He eats a mussel, and the following happens. He puts the mussel in his mouth. He starts to chew. His entire face, like, contorts, and he proceeds to begin vomiting. Like, he starts to gag, but he's, like, catching it in his mouth. So I grab the bowl for the shells. Yeah. I put it in front of him, and then he throws up.
Whoa.
On the spot. So I'm like,
whoa.
I was like, and he's like, "That was the worst thing I've ever tasted." So he got a bad mussel. It's not from him being sick.
Oh.
He got a bad mussel. Now, most of us that aren't pussies would get a bad mussel and just fucking swallow it. But then after he throws up into the bowl, he's like, he starts, and he's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." He goes to the bathroom. He's gone for like 15 minutes. I call the manager over. I'm like, "Hey, the guy I'm on a date with is now fucking, is violently ill. So I think you're going to have to take these mussels back." But anyways, I tweeted out that, my Bumble date threw up at the dinner table. So 2019 is going very consistently.
Is that like a deal breaker for you?
No, it's not. No. In fact, I was laughing so fucking hard. No, I said to him, I was like, "Listen," because he's very sweet. So he wrote me a text message, which this is why I like him. Like, it was a bad date. Like, it just was. Like, he was in a bad mood. He got sick. Like, we couldn't even, and we went there for the mussels. Obviously, now we're not eating mussels. So, like, it wasn't good. But he sent me this text message. He's like, "I'm really sorry. I promise the next date will be better." And so I said to him, I was like, "You could have shit yourself, and I still wouldn't have gone home. Like, I like you, and, like, I know that you weren't trying to, like, be a dick."
Well, it's pretty embarrassing. Or I'd be mortified, to be honest. I'd be like, I just threw up at the table. I don't know.
He really stood by it. Like, but I'm learning, you know how nobody that you meet is ever really perfect, which is why I'm very, like, I'm trying to heed Franny's advice, not to date shorter guys or, like, guys my age or anything like that. But I am trying to take it slow because you become I become, like, if someone's hot, I'm just like, they are the best. Like, I don't see anything. But if you take it really, really slow, you're like, oh, this guy's not perfect. Like, when he started him, like, Eliza goes, "Is he an anti-vaxxer? Because he won't take Advil. You should have asked that." And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I really hope not. But I mean, so I'm like figuring out that he's got this thing where he convinces himself he's sick, right? Like, I ate a few mussels after the bad mussel. I ended up getting one that didn't taste exactly perfect. But I'm pretty sure that's all that happened to him. So I said, so he said to me, I go, "Could you tell me your symptoms besides the headache?" And he's like, "My neck is really hurting." I was like, "Oh, it's meningitis." Now, this is before I knew he was a hyphypochondriac. So I go, "Oh, it's meningitis for sure." And he's like, "What's meningitis?" He Googles it. He's like, "I should go to the ER." And I'm like, I'm like, okay. I understand now that we cannot have jokes like this.
Yep.
So, anyways,
That's
he's still
amazing. Yeah.
around. So I'll be
It seems
updating.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Franny said to me, she goes, "Do you think maybe the ending of your podcast was a sign because, you know, you shouldn't, we all know that at some point the person I'm dating will not particularly like the fact that I do something like this.
Absolutely.
But I don't listen, if there's still money to be made in this, I'll be single forever. I don't care. I'm
Amen.
much happier to take the check. And then,
Yeah.
Eliza said this to me. She goes, she said something like, do you really like this guy? Like, this sounds really promising. And I just wrote back, I mean, nothing ever works out. I'm hoping this at least lasts till New Year's. And she's like, wow, that's dark.
That is dark.
But it's true.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's kind of like a cup half full, I guess. Like you're starting to,
Yeah.
like, yeah, think on the bright side of things, I guess.
I mean, I'm managing expectations. The last guy that I
Absolutely.
got super fucking smitten with, like the guy that took me to Columbia, I was putting his last name, seeing what my name sounded like with his last name, like, and I'm
Yeah.
talking, I knew him for like 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm trying not to do that.
It sounds good. It sounds healthy.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Lastly, before I get into the emails, my friend Casey, who is she's a publicist. She's younger, so she's like not like my friend Joyce, the publicist. She owns her own company. Casey's like a very junior level publicist because she's young. So she hits me up and she's like, "Hey, what if I send you a box of stuff, and whatever you like, I'll give you a discount code you can give to your patrons, and they can have it." And usually,
Hell
if
yeah.
it wasn't Casey, I would be like, "No, thank you," because
Fuck you. Yeah.
what is in this for? I mean, I love
Yeah,
my
it's-
patrons, but like, okay, now I have to advertise. Meh, it's not really a good deal for me.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so she sends me a box of stuff, and it's like mosquito repellent. Yeah, it's a very hodgepodge. I'm like, I don't really understand how would I even?
Who is
Oh,
this
and then there's
for? Yeah.
deodorant stick made with CBD, and like it's so fucking random. But in there, she threw in there this, because God forbid I should get a sponsorship that doesn't offer up a vibrator. So
Oh, have you seen those? Yeah, it's she's showing me a +1
Yes.
vibrator. It looks pretty sleek. Looks like it's built for speed and comfort.
It's waterproof.
It's waterproof.
I-
Looks not bad.
I mean, so here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna give the code out for this. I'm gonna ask her for it's like a 20% discount or something. I don't even know what the price point on this is. And I'm gonna get that code to put it in our Facebook group because I clearly cannot advertise that worldwide. But I thought that was kind of funny and fun, and I will. I'll try it and let you know. It's funny. I don't understand this waterproof necessity. Like, if you're in the shower, you have other avenues to use. Like, I don't. My shower time is like get in, get clean, and get out. That's not sexy time. I don't understand.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah.
I don't. And like,
I mean, like, isn't I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to make an ass of myself. But have you seen? There's other people that have been pushing vibrators and stuff. Natalie Negrati from yeah, she was also pushing this kind of thing.
I told you guys that Janelle didn't know what it was and said yes, and they sent it to her, and then they were like, okay, they sent her a check for the money. She cashed the check, and then she was like, fuck, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I talked to Janelle today, actually. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, it's Janelle DeSantos. She was on Big Brother, and she did Amazing Race with me. She's fucking amazing, but she's
amazing.
Massive. Her and Brittany Haynes, too, are massive Survivor fans. Like, they don't miss an episode, and I don't watch anything. So she hit me up to ask me about the damn thing today, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. All right, I have 2 emails. So now, good news, guys. You get advice from both me and McCrae.
Oh God, I don't think they want it. That's what I'm most concerned about. Is like the patrons are just gonna be like, man, this guy needs to shut the fuck up. Like, fuck him, Big Brother. Fuck you, dude.
Listen, I still have this like I've never watched a minute. Well, that's not true. I watched with Rachel, Alyssa, Brittany, and Janelle and Eliza when we were still like being quarantined at Race, the very last city in Detroit. I watched a few minutes of Big Brother. They let us. You have to stay in your own rooms. Like Eliza and I are in a room. Janelle and Brittany, Rachel and Alyssa. They let us all get together to watch a Big Brother episode. So the only way I could hang out with them is if I was willing to watch this Big Brother episode.
That sounds fun.
Well, they turned it on. There's no alcohol, so it's not that fun. And we're crammed into one hotel room. So we're all in our robes, and they turn it on. And it's maybe 10 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't understand why there's a robot. And
Oh God,
and
I'm
everybody
sorry.
was like, "Oh my God, this is so embarrassing! Like, this
This
isn't
is
normally
the
like this." And I was like, "This
yeah
is the stupidest show I've ever watched. Why would anyone
yeah
watch this?" Like the
yeah.
robot gimmick was so bad that
It's
like, but it was the
terrible.
only thing I'd ever seen. So, anyways, I have this like grandiose idea of being the first person to play all three shows. There's
Hell
no
yeah.
reason for me to believe I'm not that famous and I'm not that special, but I do think that I have the right personality for Big Brother, much more so than maybe the other two shows.
No,
Not to
I would
win it,
absolutely.
but to be like a very fun character.
No, I think I mean on my season, like my showmance was Amanda, and like you guys have very similar personalities. HBIC, like New York Jews, like I mean you guys are fucking like you guys are that like same kind of like this is my fucking show and I'm gonna run shit right now. And like there's I don't know. I think you'd probably do very
But
well
like,
on
if
Big
I
Brother to
can
be honest.
sleep and I can shower, oh my god, I'm so much funnier. Like I'm so
Oh
much wittier
yeah.
when I can think. So I feel like
Yep.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I tweet about it from time to time. The
Let's make the
listen.
push, Facebook group. Let's make the push. Get on Twitter. Everybody's gonna have to start the hashtag.
Yeah, that
Get
and
Corinne on
also
BB.
for the record, I'd have to be on a celebrity one because I can't take 3 months off of work. So not only do I want to be
Yeah,
on
that's
it
true.
and the first person to do all three, but I need to be on the special celebrity version.
Yep, that's true.
All right, we have got. I'm not going to say the name because half of you guys want to be anonymous. Um, Story update. Okay, hi Corinne. About a month ago, I wrote in about the 18-year-old and the 21-year-old getting married. And man, what a whirlwind this month has been. My friend decided to quit his job and is now working in the back of a thrift store that his fiance works at part time. Does the fiance work in the front? Is there a front and back to the thrift store? Oh, he's
Yeah.
the guy that's getting all this disgusting clothing in, maybe? Ew. They decided they
Yeah.
could not financially support a wedding, so they pushed it off for what I was told 1 to 5 years. Huh.
That's a smart idea. That's
I
a really
mean,
smart idea. 1 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we'll see. Play by ear.
Okay, so, but yeah, but I mean, how elaborate of a wedding? If it's going to take you 5 years to save up for this wedding, are you getting married in Bali? Like, what are you doing? Like, are you giving
Seems
out
weird.
Rolexes as the invite?
Yeah.
Jay-Z style. All right, he says, however, they have decided that they should have a baby. I'm sorry, you don't have enough money to get married, but you have enough money for a baby? Well, you have your priorities fucked up. They're going to the courthouse on the 20th to be legally married. Well, I was okay with them ruining their lives. I don't know how I feel about them trying to ruin the life of a child. What should I do? Is it okay to sit back and watch the train wreck? How do you convince two headstrong people to not fuck up this much? Wow.
Should I go first, or
yeah,
do you want to go?
no, you go first, please.
I mean, like the problem is that it's like you're not. Are you really gonna be doing anything? Like everyone wants to be like, oh, I don't want people to fuck up the lives of some innocent child. It's like, well, like look around you. Everywhere, people are just pumping out kids. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, like whatever you say isn't gonna do anything, and if anything, it's gonna push them. Like, no, now we need to stick together because it's not
Right.
the
I gotta
they don't
prove
want
everyone
this
wrong.
love. Yeah, exactly. So to me, it's like you have to let people be fucking dumb, especially if it's not your family members. You know, like if it's family, it might be a little bit different to be like, ooh, like this isn't the greatest idea. But even still, that's where you get into that like pushing them together. Actually, I don't know. You got to let people be stupid, but yeah, that's why
Well,
you come to places like this to rant about stuff. I think.
Here's my advice to you. It's really fun to watch fuck ups like this for a while. Okay, like I would. This is a true life reality show. This is the best kind. Now, once they get the kid, I don't know if these are two, because if this is a gay couple, that's going to take a little longer. But
1 to 5 years.
right, exactly. But I would say to you, once they obtain the child, however that happens, get the fuck out. You're done now. You're done, because if they
Yeah.
have no money, they ain't got no child care. Like that is not the friends you want to have. So.
No.
Opt out of the situation at that point is my advice to you.
Agreed.
But I agree with McCrae. You're not going to be able to convince them otherwise. There's nothing you can do. So sit back and, watch the disaster.
Hell yeah, get some popcorn.
Okay. I love the person that sent this email in. I don't know if I can say the name. Whatever. Tyler. I'll say his first name. Hi, Tyler. Okay. Hi, Corinne. Love the podcast. Hope your trip was amazing. I'm a recent college grad without much experience, but I landed a seemingly great job. Unfortunately, it has not turned out to be at all what I expected. I showed up for my first day, and they completely changed my role and the number of hours I'd be working. Promised me I'd be full-time by September, still not there. On top of that, my boss is incredibly coercive. I don't use this word lightly. The workplace is toxic. Oh, it sounds terrible. I know you recently left a job after less than a year. How do I go about this? I'm beginning to look for new jobs, but I'm terrified to leave this quickly. I don't have much experience or many professional references, so I'm afraid having my first job post grad to be less than a year will tank whatever chances I have. Thanks for your help. Okay, here's my thinking on this. So I left a job, that job I was at only for 3 months. And in my opinion, that's a mulligan. That don't go on my resume. Yeah. And the only reason it's on my resume currently is because it gives me, I had transplant experience, and that's how I got this job. Now, I was lucky enough that the CEO of this company reached out to me and like poached me from that job. But trust me, my shit was out there. I was trying to figure out how I could get out of that job almost immediately. Like 2 weeks after arriving, I was like, this is not, it was not the culture for me. It was not the right job for me. Now, in your case, you've hung in there for a while now. It doesn't sound like, I mean, you've probably been there for longer than 3 months. So most people would agree if the next job you take is a step up, which, you know, it could be $1,000 more. You can pitch that to anybody in an interview and say, like, I was offered a pay increase. How could I say no to that? Like, you know, I think that nowadays it doesn't matter so much. My resume looks like a fucking ransom note, but I can explain. I mean, I have a very high powered job now. I would not have this job if I sat at the same company year over year over year. And so it depends what industry you're in. But I say to you, like, no one should ever, like, to me, jobs are something that are totally changeable. Like, it's harder to get out of a marriage. It's even harder if you have, like, you got stuck with an autistic kid or, you know, whatever. Like, life hands you lemons. But a job you can fucking change. So, like, I never understand why people suffer through them, especially if the financial compensation isn't there. Like, no, get out. Don't worry about, like, once you get the next job, that job, stay in it for a while. But this, whatever. Some people make bad decisions. So.
Yep. What I would say is know your self-worth, I guess. Know how much, I mean, coming out of school, being young, it's, like, tough to gauge where your worth, I guess. But you know, like, if it's harming your mental health, I guess, like, if it is a truly toxic environment, it's like, definitely start looking at, you know, anywhere else you can go. But, get out of there. There's why waste your life, like, being miserable, I guess, but I don't know.
Also, let me just state, because if this isn't obvious, you need to get another job before you quit this one.
Yes, that's I didn't want to, like,
So once you get another job, fucking leave this in the rear view.
Well, and use it as leverage. Like, use this job as leverage. Like, you already got your foot into the door here. Go find their competition and go pitch yourself to them, whatever. I mean, it's all, I'm one that shouldn't talk. I've got, like, a part-time job.
Your career advice might not be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're going to end the podcast on this note because I've gotten a lot of fucking weird-ass DMs lately, so I thought it might be fun to share one with you. I put up a photo of me. My hair is in a bun. I am in, like, a turtleneck and a jacket. And I'm sipping I was complaining because I ordered actually a Bloody Maria, not a Bloody Mary, in the airport. And it was $18 and they served it to me in a fucking wine glass. So there was...
What's the difference?
3 sips of Maria comes with tequila.
Ooh, okay.
Change it up a little bit.
I like that. So
this person DM'd me, you look like you are phenomenal in the sack. That's a compliment, not an insult. Enjoy your day. So first and foremost,
you're welcome.
Thank you for clarifying. But also, this photo is like nothing about this photo. I don't know why it would be phenomenal. I'm bitching about the price of a Bloody Maria is what I'm doing in the photo.
Just demanding. Yeah, I like it.
So anyways,
that's amazing.
Besties, I'm probably going to take a bit of a hiatus so I can figure out what the fuck I'm going to do here because like I said, I don't want to just podcast and give away my life stories for free. So I'm trying to figure that out. McCrae and I are discussing maybe doing something with Patreon and, like, creating a Patreon wall. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but in the interim, you can still send me emails because I will eventually get to them when we pick this back up. If you want to do that, it's at mybestfriendcorinne@gmail.com. You can always join our private Facebook group after you answer a few questions. And that group is also My Best Friend Corinne, but it's the private one. That'll do it for us. McCrae, you got any last?
What I want to say is I just want to say thank you for everyone in the community. You know, like, I kind of weaseled my way into this community just by virtue of being on Big Brother and kind of helping out ATF. But, you know, like, this community's been awesome. I've been here forever. I actually met my girlfriend, shout out to Brittany, through ATF. Like, she's an ATF member, so that's how we met. So, like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this group is kind of giving back more to me than even than whatever, I
Aw.
guess. But yeah, it's cute.
Look at us,
Adorable.
both in successful relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for even giving me a chance to listen to my stupid ass talk with Corinne. So thank you guys for
And
listening.
one more thing that just reminded me of is Julie's mom, Hillary, listens to this podcast, and she just had open heart surgery, and she sent me a text message saying that she kept listening to my old episodes on repeat while she was in the ICU, and she was laughing and smiling, and the girls and the nurses in the ICU were like, "What is it that you're listening to?" And she's like, like my basically like somebody that's the equivalent of my daughter's sex life. Anyway, so
Amazing.
shout out to Hillary.
Shout out.
Speedy recovery. DNR and Raise the Roof, guys. We will see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.